Coming up next on this edition of In the City, the Murfreesboro Housing Authority oversees new affordable housing neighborhoods that Murfreesboro will be proud of. Also, Murfreesboro City Schools Music Fest is back and bigger than ever at World Outreach Church. Plus, the Wetlands at Discovery Center is going through a major landscape design facelift. And Old Fort Golf Club has something for every age. Find out about some of their more popular programs. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. 3 affordable housing neighborhoods were in need of upgrading. The Murfreesboro Housing Authority secured tax credits to help fund the projects.
There's a major need for affordable housing here in Murfreesboro. The mission of the Murfreesboro Housing Authority is to provide decent, safe, and sanitary housing in good repair for eligible families.
The Housing Authority does affordable housing here in Rutherford County. We used to have what's called public housing, and we converted our public housing to a RAD platform, which is a rental assistance demonstration platform. And then we also have the Housing Choice Voucher Program, where we assist people with their rent throughout Rutherford County. Today, all of our redevelopment that we're doing is private. So we have converted, so we still have assistance from HUD, but it's private development. Nothing has been redeveloped with public dollars. It's all been redeveloped through tax credits and private investments. Our affordable housing that we're building looks like any regular housing that you see in any neighborhood now, and that's our goal, is to build housing that people will be proud to live in. But affordable housing is a rare commodity here in Rutherford County because of the growth. And it's hard to find housing anywhere for the people that are on the voucher programs. Trying to find housing, trying to find landlords to work with us is difficult.
The public housing area near Oakland's mansion off of North Academy Street is having a major facelift. It's called Oakland Court, and Phase 1 with 76 units has been completed. Phase 2 is under construction with 74 units.
We started looking at redeveloping Oakland Court back in 2018. We held 17 public meetings to get public input. We wanted to build something that would complement with the mansion because it is a historical site. It's Oakland Mansion and the park there. And so we went throughout town and looked at architecture styles that we have here in Murfreesboro. And that's what we have patterned the new homes that we are developing over at Oakland Court, or after the historical home elevations that we have in town. People are amazed when they see it because the outsides look great. I mean, it's like any private development, high-end development that you want to ride through. When they go inside of the units, they are more impressed because we have the old moldings that you would find in the older homes, the large windows, tall ceilings. So it's a place to be proud to live. We've been very fortunate. We have received 4 9% tax credits 4 years in a row. And so our first one was in 2019. We received another one in 20, 21, and 22. So they have enhanced us to be able to build Oakland 1 and 2. And then they're also helping us to redevelop Parkside development, which is over on Castle Street and Vaughn Street. We're taking that development down and rebuilding it. And then the 4th tax credit we've received from THDA, we will start the Mercury development. The Parkside and Mercury is more urban, but still sticking with single-family duplexes and a few triplexes. Well, over at Oakland, we started off with 20 acres of land with 76 units on it. So when we finish with Oakland 1 and 2, we'll have 150 units on 20 acres. Mercury, which has 15 acres and the 74 units over there, and we'll put back 127 over there. The need is here, and people really have a hard time finding anywhere to live they can afford. And if they don't have assistance, it's difficult for a lot of people that are on a minimum wage or a little better. And so our goal was to make life better for people.
City Schools Music Fest brings students together in one voice as they entertain a large crowd at their first concert in 3 years. For the first time in 3 years, City Schools host Music Fest at World Outreach Church.
We are so proud to be having our Murfreesboro annual music festival. It's our first one in 3 years, and it has just been great to be back together again.
As part of Music and Education Month, different groups from 10 Murfreesboro City Schools shared the stage to perform.
I can't give enough credit to our music teachers who worked so hard to pull this off.
Over 280 students showed off what they've been working on in music classes and extracurricular groups.
We have a big crowd here, a lot of families here. Like I said, the first one in 3 years. It was actually the last event we did prior to the pandemic hitting. So to be back, the excitement's in the air. So glad to have our students together and singing these wonderful songs.
Murfreesboro City Schools always has something going on for their students. Check out cityschools.net for everything happening with the district. For CityTV, Michael Linn White. There are some big changes coming to the Discovery Garden at Murfree Spring. Kristen Hopkins from the Parks Natural Resource Division talks about the new landscape design and some of its new features.
There are some major changes coming to the Murfree Springs Discover Garden. Kristen Hopkins with the city's Natural Resource Division talks about what is in store.
So Murfreesboro Parks Natural Resource Division, we've been looking at this site for several years now, knowing that it was really overgrown and full of invasive species. As it's supposed to be a teaching garden, we thought it would be better if the garden reflected a wetland habitat and had the plants that you would find in a wetland system. A lot of our invasive species don't support our native wildlife. So a lot of the plants and animals from this area, they've grown up together over a very long period of time. They've adapted to one another. And in fact, a lot of our insect species are so specialized to certain kinds of native plants that invasive species or non-native plants, they don't support our wildlife. So if you like songbirds, then you need the caterpillars to feed the songbird babies. The caterpillars require certain specific native species to be able to reproduce and create more insects. So that's why it's so important for native species to be prominent in landscapes, especially this one that's adjacent to a natural wetland area. It's only going to make the ecological system, the ecological services healthier and more resilient to things like pollution inputs, which we see in this very urban area, the changing climate that we're seeing here recently, and it's only going to help with on-the-ground temperature control, flood mitigation, you name it. If an ecosystem supplies it for us, then those native plants are going to help it do that. So for the next couple of growing seasons, we will be going back in and removing as much invasive material as we can, and then we have a redesign plan that features pockets of different kinds of native species. Along the edge we'll see more sedges and more kind of wetland edge species, and then as we go up into the drier parts we'll start looking at what would occur in either a sunny kind of prairie meadow or something that would be more appropriate for a shade, depending on the situation. We'll be working with that redesign plan, and 100% of the plants that we put back in will be plants that we have grown ourselves in our native plant nursery here in Parks. So this project is going to take a few years to get going, and the reason for that is the invasives that were here, they've been growing here for 20 years. They're well established. They're extremely difficult to get rid of, and it's certainly not going to happen in one go. So we're going to spend the next 2 growing seasons making sure that we have gotten out every piece of non-native plant material out of this space. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to put good plants on top of bad plants. It's just going to make the management in the future that much more challenging. So as we replant this garden, we'll begin to see more wildlife come in. And this place is very diverse already, and we anticipate even more diversity coming into this one spot. It's only 20 acres, but it houses a lot of life. We'll start to see a lot more different kinds of songbirds, probably woodpeckers as well coming in. And with that comes other species. We already have a wide variety of mammals here. We'll probably see more amphibians coming in. We'll probably see more reptiles coming in. anything that we could do to improve that native community, we're only going to see more wildlife coming in. And it's going to be just even more of a wonderful oasis than it already is for wildlife in this really urbanized area. Some of the native plants that we hope to include in this planting are going to be some of our native sedges, which are really underutilized but really wonderful native plants. We hope to also put in some elderberry shrubs, some beautyberry shrubs, maybe a couple of more different kinds of trees like understory trees, and we will include some milkweeds as well. So we'll start to see those things. Like if we put in hop trees, we'll be seeing giant swallowtails. If we put in milkweeds, we'll start to see monarchs. We may put in some vines like coral honeysuckle, which will bring in the hummingbirds. We'll try to put in some pipevine vines, which host the pipevine swallowtail, some spice bush swallowtail, all of those insects which rely on those plants. If it's appropriate for this space, we'll use it.
Even though there are some big changes coming to the Discovery Garden, some of the most popular features will remain.
The things that are going to really stay the same in this design is it's still going to be a play space, a place for education, a place for kids and families to enjoy. We'll keep the concrete lily pads to run through. We hope to get the waterfall feature back in place, and it's still going to hold water. We've got to work on the liner under there and make sure that it's not leaking anymore. So we'll work on those things, and those will stay the same. What's going to be different again is the level of diversity, and hopefully it'll be more beautiful with more color, different kinds of flowers, some grasses still, which will create nice fountainy spaces in between there, different kinds of sedges creating functional aesthetic spaces. So that's really going to be the main difference. Is that part of it. But everything else that you loved about this space, the ability to go in there, get your hands wet, find tadpoles, enjoy programming with the Discovery Center, those things will stay in place.
Golf is a sport you can play your entire life, and with the addition of Bloomfield Links, Old Fort Golf Club has programs for every age.
We spent some time with Murfreesboro Golf Director Trey Adams to talk about some great programs at Old Fort Golf as they gear up for the warmer weather.
And we like to think that we've got something here for everybody, whether they're 5 or they're 85. So we've got sign-ups going on now for what we call our frequent player program. So anybody can get into that. It's kind of a loyalty rewards program. It's going to save you money on range balls, earn you discounts in the golf shop. And for every round you play, you earn points. When you get to a certain number of points, you can redeem free 9 or 18 hole greens fees. So it's $15 to get into. Anybody can join it, and it can definitely save you some money on golf. Next thing we have is our Men's Golf Association. There's a $100 fee to get in. All the events are here. We play once a month on a Saturday, usually one tournament a month. There's an age group that's basically from 18 to 54. That'll, for most events, play from the gold tees. And then we have senior age divisions that'll determine what set of tees you play from. You can obviously win some golf shop credit for each individual event, but we also have what we call Player of the Year points race. So every event you play in, you earn points toward that end of the year Player of the Year. So not only do you get your name on the wall for some of our events, Player of the Year is kind of the biggest honor for the Men's Golf Association. And get some more golf shop credit with that too. So we have a ladies league that starts up in April. They play during the week, basically like the Tuesdays, the day they would like to play. Depending on time of year, we'll start anywhere from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Right now around 20 to 30 ladies that play each week. If you want to be in the ladies league, they also require that you get a USGA handicap. And basically everything that they do, you'll have a winner for your actual score, or in golf we call that your gross score, and then a winner for your net score. So that's basically your score adjusted for what your average score, your handicap is. The senior league, and it can be men or ladies. We have both that play in it, but it's open to anyone that's over the age of 55. And they typically play on Wednesdays, usually at around 8 a.m. We limit it to 72 players, and we've got about 400 on our roster, and they get invitations every Friday. They'll get an email, hey, do you want to play or not, yes or no. First 72 that get in will play. And you just pay to play the day of. There's no upfront fees or anything like that. Next is kind of our junior program, our spring Linksters program. So it's a team-based scramble type format. So basically you have children that are ages 5 to 9, I believe, is one age group, and then there's an age group from 10 to 12. And so they'll be kind of placed on a team, they'll get kind of team jerseys. They'll have practices a few times during the week, and then they'll have games on Saturday where they go out and play a 6-hole scramble over our short course, Bloomfield Links. Our junior golf instructor, Emily Miller, she's a PGA member, and she will lead the practices and organize those. And they won't necessarily have a team or a coach for each team, but the staff there will help guide all those practices. Sign-up forms are all online if you want to kind of get a head start and print those out. You would have to come in person to pay and to sign up for those programs, though. We also have a Bloomfield Tour Series, so this is more, where the Linksters is more of a group team format. The Tour Series is more of an individual play your own ball format. So it's kind of the bridge between, you know, the starting out as Linksters and then maybe something between there and like a middle school golf team. One new program we have this year, this one is all of the previous kids programs I've talked about are open to anyone, but we do have one that is specific to girls, the LPGA USGA girls golf program, in that kind of 7 to 13, maybe even as young as 6. And it's basically going to be obviously golf, some life skills, different things, but it's just going to be targeted for girls because we're trying to get those girls more involved in golf. Megan Brewer is leading that program. She's our teaching professional for a lot of our ladies programs and junior programs as well, some of those. And so her information's on our website, so you should reach out to her and she can get them signed up for that. Bloomfield Links is a short 6-hole par 3 golf course. Thanks to the Tennessee Golf Foundation and the Scott Stallings Kids Play Free program, any junior that's 17 and under, they need to come in the golf shop for the first time. They'll register, they'll get a little membership card. They can go over and play Bloomfield Links at absolutely no cost. We have golf clubs there, we have golf balls there. They can go over there and play golf, you know, whenever they'd like. We're looking forward to being open all year long this year, like normal, and so we want to welcome you out to Old Fort for anything you might need golf-wise, whether that's playing or we've got a fully stocked golf shop here. You know, if you need club fitting, club repair, golf lessons, wherever you need, we're here for you.
The I-24 Smart Corridor is a Tennessee Department of Transportation project that will be a game changer for motorists on the stretch of Interstate 24 from Murfreesboro to Nashville.
The Tennessee Department of Transportation is constructing the I-24 Smart Corridor project to improve travel time reliability from Rutherford County to Davidson County. This is a 3-phase project, with Phase 2 planned to be completed October of this year. Representatives came to a City Council workshop meeting to give an update.
Thanks again for having us. We appreciate y'all and everything that Murfreesboro is doing as part of the team. We have 4 agencies that are part of the Smart Corridor team. This project is about safety and reliability. And the goal and the mission of TDOT is to provide a safe and reliable transportation system. So we have our 4 goals. It's very important that we have our reliability of travel time, mobility for all modes, the concentration of crashes we're trying to improve, and then develop agency coordination. That's part of why we try to come and talk to all the city councils along the corridor, just to express our thanks and also continue that partnership for all the local agencies that are involved in the project. So Phase 1 we've completed. We put in some roadside DMS, dynamic message signs. We've put in communication infrastructure. That project was completed back in December 2021, so we came and talked to y'all just before that project was complete. Now Phase 2 is really the more visible portion of the project. We've got 67 of the lane control gantries that you'll see out there on the interstate between State Roads 102 and 440 out there. We're also putting in a variable speed limit system out there. So that'll serve to let folks know well in advance when there's a crash out there on the interstate. And then also we're putting in traffic signal timing and have all the infrastructure in place, all the technology in place in order to manage traffic if there's a crash out there on I-24. That's a really important piece of the project. That's where the partnership with the local agencies come in. Murfreesboro has been great to work with. Jim and Rom and his staff, they're a great partner so that whenever there's a crash on I-24, which we all know happens quite often, we're able to manage that traffic when it diverts over to State Road 1. In this phase of the project, we're at the completion date says October 2023. That includes a 6-month burn-in period, which we're about to start here in April. Now, when we get to phase 3, that's the kind of a capstone of the project. One of the other big elements of that project is going to be ramp metering, ramp flow meters, which will help to smooth traffic coming onto the interstate and to try to address some of those phantom traffic jams you see out there every day. Ramp meters will help to alleviate that. And then the other big element of phase 3 is coming in with arterial cameras and arterial dynamic message signs to help let traffic know where to go when they get off Interstate 24, and also to give that much more information to the traffic engineers to manage the traffic signal system. And just a little picture of our schedule here. As it shows here, we're in the middle of the CSAT, stands for Conditional System Acceptance Test, so we're right there in the middle of that acceptance testing. We plan on going into operations in April or May of this year, so we're right there at the end of a 3-year project. So it's been really exciting to see it all come together. And then phase 3, we're getting design going. We should be able to get into the construction of that project coming into next year. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicators. So we want to be able to measure what we're doing out there, how it's improving traffic, how it's improving safety. And then for maintenance as well, the system is only going to be successful if the infrastructure we're putting out there is available and up when we need it to be. You're not expecting to get to your destination with free flow traffic the entire time. It's over time, you can expect how long it's going to take you to get to your destination. This technology we're putting in with the variable speed limits and lane control system have been proven to work in other areas. In Texas, they saw almost a 50% reduction in crashes with the queue warning system, which this is a really advanced queue warning system we're putting in here. Variable speed limits are able to reduce collisions by almost 50% in Virginia. So you see here that these other areas that have tried this technology have had success, and we expect to have similar success in Tennessee here.
Our motto is that early and exciting awareness is key. We will be communicating frequently and very early in the process. So that Go Live event is going to be more of a VIP event. Projects like this is investment in technology on our roadways. The second there is our 24-day promotional campaign. What we want to make sure is that the public understands what these gantries even do. And then, of course, we'll continue to update the usual channels that we've always had. The goals of this project are that we want to improve safety in this stretch of roadway, and we want to make sure to increase and promote travel time reliability. So these gantries aren't necessarily going to make your trip shorter, but what it will do, and what I and our team will be communicating, is that it will make it more reliable.
Murfreesboro City Schools recently celebrated students' STEAM knowledge and skills from across the district by showcasing exhibits, activities, and engineering competitions.
Murfreesboro City Schools hosted STEAM in the City to showcase student exhibits, activities, and an engineering competition. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. This is a curriculum that Murfreesboro City Schools has adopted to stimulate student inquiry and to teach problem solving. One side of Lane Agri-Park was an engineering competition.
The students will get the actual challenge that they're working on when they arrive. They'll design for an hour, and then we have a final presentation.
The challenge is to create a space vehicle that will transport as many astronauts as possible from Space Camp 1 to Space Camp 2. But each vehicle must have 2 passengers. They get points. They also get points for speed. These children did not know what was going to be in these boxes. And the other beautiful thing is they're not all from the same school.
And on this side, we have amazing entries that students have been working on with their classes, and it's pretty amazing stuff with the engineering process.
I got to talk to some of the kids to ask them about their exhibits.
This is robotics, and so you had to build a robot to compete in a competition. So you have two robots in there. They will work together to get as much points and discs as they can.
So we're working together, so we have to collaborate. During the competition, we'd actually negotiate with the team that we're going to be working with, and we'd come up with a strategy. My job has been mainly building and making things. We started kind of building our own stuff.
So this is a chemical reaction car. Our design brief told us that General Motors did not have enough computer chips to run the cars, so we decided to use chemical reactions like vinegar and baking soda to help us move it.
So when we first tried it, some of them did not work, some of them was acting up, it did not work. So our redesign to make it lighter, whatever it can do to make it move.
We made a nursery. This project was inspired by Peter Pan, the nursery. One of our favorite parts of our maze is the sparkles. They represent pixie dust. We have been learning about magnets and steam, and we have been reading Peter Pan. So we can combine them, and we made a Peter Pan maze.
So this is our engineering design process of our three-dimensional kidney, because a woman at our school is in need of another kidney.
And we use the app Tinkercad to 3D model the kidney, and we also make some sketch of the kidney and we find online so we can learn more about it.
And then we made 3D models about it to actually see how it looks and how it can actually affect our body if we don't have one.
If you have a big kidney, you want to fit into a small child, you have to deform it, make it a little bit smaller for it to fit.
Well, what we have is a zoo animal enclosures, which we use the engineering design process to create.
We also engineered, and we had to build each enclosure and give it the specific needs for each enclosure.
We also use a 3D printer to make the animals for our enclosures, and we also did math to measure our enclosures.
Our animal escaped, and so we had to figure out how it escaped and how to get it back.
Students want to come to school. They don't want to miss it. So attendance is better, behavior is down, student engagement is way up.
We are excited to partner with PAWS of Rutherford County to bring you the pet of the month. Here's the newest pet, Happy. Happy has been here since October, and he's a 47-pound, 2-year-old pit bull mix. He's strong, playful, and energetic. He resembles the true meaning of happiness. He's neutered and up to date on all of his shots. Happy seems to be dog selective. In meet and greets, he appears to be dominant. He seems to do okay with kids. Just keep in mind with younger children, he's very energetic. Happy will need an adopter who is willing to be patient and provide him with lots of training as he is still learning simple commands. He is a ball of energy who has mastered the art of zoomies. He will play with just about anything. He needs lots of time outdoors. For more information about Happy or other dogs and cats available for adoption, contact PAWS at 615-898-7740 or email them at paws@rutherfordcountytn.gov. Vice Mayor Bill Shacklett and Councilwoman Jamie Averwater recognized Murfreesboro Solid Waste Facility Attendant Mark Lewis with a STARS Award at Thursday, March 16th Council meeting. Mark has been the facility attendant at the city's convenience center for years. The Solid Waste Department receives multiple compliments on his attitude and customer service on a weekly basis. He had a recent encounter with Councilmember Jamie Averwater, and she called to give him recognition. She stated that over the years of her using the facility, Mark has always gone out of his way to help her with her recycling. He will take it out of her car and help her load the cardboard into the compactor. Mark has a servant attitude and always goes above and beyond to ensure the customer's needs are met. The STARS Service Excellence Program recognizes outstanding employees who embody the city's standards for service, excellence, and exemplify the city's core service values. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the city of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see any of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and we look forward to seeing you in the city.